I found out that most buildings, arts and crafts buildings, had Batchelder fireplaces, Batchelder tiles. And when I came, people were tearing them down. I started collecting Batchelder designs by making the impressions with clay on the original Batchelder designs. And I got really lucky. In the very beginning was a lady who owned one of the greenhouses, because they spend years restoring their green to the original, but for her own master bedroom, which was just a brick fireplace, she wanted something of her own. So she commissioned me to do the eucalyptus that's outside of their bedroom. So I carved a eucalyptus fireplace for her.
For the most part, our residential clients are all historic homeowners. Some, however, we do have quite a few clients who are building new construction to look craftsman. So those are fun projects too. And you go in and you can see just like this amazing woodwork that people are still doing to kind of mimic the old styles. And you know, a lot of what we do now, she started out as kind of like a Batchelder reproduction company to a certain extent. That was her entry into the market. But I see a lot of what we do now is like nouveau arts and crafts. It's almost like a fantasy arts and crafts. Sometimes we have some very vivid colors, which was not traditional. We do have our very kind of like earth tone colors, but we do high fire. So the tiles are a lot sturdier. You know, our commissioned fireplaces and carvings, you know, they're one of a kind. We draw it out for each client based on their measurements. You know, we sit there and over the period of days kind of like bas relief our way through a slab of clay. And I think that's really kind of like what differentiates us from a lot of other companies, is just this emphasis on actually sitting there and doing like the handwork.
I've thought most ceramic glazes, people like it to be really even and perfect and rigid. And I wanted tiles that's free. And so we developed a watercolor technique, which is putting in two quite different colors together and swishing them around and letting nature do what it wants.
So you do get a very irregular handmade look with everything. You know, nothing's mechanically perfect, which really does add a lot of life to the fireplace.
I draw from what I learned in architecture. I think if you are true to the material and true to the design, it's going to be good whether you go into a Spanish style or a modern style or a craftsman style. It could all work if the product and the techniques you use are
true to their nature.
True to the nature. That's the word. Right.